Hey, okay, everybody. We are live on what is today. Today is the 10th of April on the DroneNation channel here. Unfortunately, Ron Brown is not going to be live with us today. He's going to be in the back room. He'll be highlighting some of the comments in the chat and so forth. He just took a little ill after the South Florida drone meetup. But the good news is then we replace him with Mr. Johnnie Drone Flyer over here right next to me. And DeMarco said that, I asked DeMarco if he would MC tonight, and he would say only, and he'll start MCing when Ron and I go to the big drone meetup in the sky. So that's when you'll see DeMarco running the show, I guess. And then, of course, our special guest, John Cuppi. And John, again, I appreciate you coming in at the last minute. It was a pretty short notice, and I very much appreciate you coming on.
I appreciate the invite. I do wish it was under better circumstances, and I hope Ron makes a super fast recovery.
That is a bunch of us. Susan is sick too, as is Uncle Kev, right, DeMarco? How's Uncle Kev doing?
He is feeling good. I spoke to him Saturday, and he sounded really, really good. In fact, he tested again, and it was negative, and his fever's gone. So he's his old self again, probably. So.
And like we talked about, the interesting thing is I spent the whole week with Ron and Susan, riding in cars with them, having meals with them, etc. I didn't get it, and I've tested a few times, and I'm good. So just interesting the way that works. So anyway, I think we need to start out with going around the room here. Mr. Johnnie Drone Flyer, I know you've been busy with your crawfish feed and everything. What's going on? And no, I'm serious. I'm not kidding. It's pretty cool.
I had company down. My little niece was in from Virginia Beach, her and her daughter and her husband. So yeah, we had a great time. Had a crawfish boil Good Friday. I had I think 120 pounds, well 122 pounds, absolutely. And but yeah, we had a great time, and they left yesterday. So yeah, kind of catching up. I actually did a little hyperlapse just a few minutes ago while I was getting ready for DroneNation. Sitting out there, it's been nice all day. So weather's really pretty in South Louisiana right now. Although there is activity in the Gulf already for a little tropical depression. So I hope they don't get that stuff started already. But anyway.
Let's hope it doesn't blow down that brand new house, Johnny.
Man, hey, one thing we don't have to worry about here is trees or water. So we do have to worry about the wind, but hey, let's not worry about that right now. John, I do want to say I watched your video, and I can't wait to talk about that video there.
Oh, awesome! Yeah, the Integra. That's when I got to test a little over a week ago. It's definitely very interesting.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, John, why don't you give us your introduction? What have you been up to?
Well, it's finally starting to warm up here. I got to fly on Easter Sunday, so that was really cool. I'm doing more work on the little plane back there. I mean, I'm just having getting back into the spring of things, so to speak. Yep.
Yeah, good. Have you been eating any Blue Diamond almonds in Missouri?
Blue Diamond almonds? No, I have not.
It's kind of an inside joke.
I'm not familiar with it.
Yeah,
John,
must have missed that part.
John, I'm gonna mail you some, and they're coming from DeMarco and his wife. So,
Johnny has a whole pickup truck full of Blue Diamond almonds.
We used to.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to go over the story about that, because I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
Yeah, of course. I know, that was the fun of it. Yeah.
Yeah, you got me on that one.
Yeah. Mr. Moore, my co-host, my good friend, what have you been up to, pal?
I've been flying. Woo!
What?
The weather's good. I'm probably about 150 miles south of John, probably though. So weather's been nice here. No rain for a couple of days though. So I've gone through 6 batteries so far, which I'm breaking records over here. So it's been good to get out there. The kids haven't been around when I'm flying, so that's always a plus there too. So yeah.
So Mark, what have you been flying?
Oh, they just built a new park from probably a couple hundred feet away from me. So It is a beautiful park though. So I've been doing time lapses and orbits and taking pictures of sunrises. I mean, it's just been
With what drones?
What's that?
Which drones have you been flying?
The Mini 3 Pro.
That's a good one.
Yes, and it holds up in the wind pretty well too. Yesterday it was windy. Yesterday evening it was windy though, and it held up great. So yeah.
Not
Feels
flying
good.
the potato.
What was that? I'm sorry.
Not flying the potato.
No.
Gotcha. Well, no, that's what they call it. That's what people call it. Yeah.
I don't call it that, Marcus.
Well, no, that's all right. That wasn't named as anything, but a lot of people call it the potato. That's
The
all.
POS.
I
Yeah.
call it
What
the
about
potato.
yourself? What have you been up to?
You talking to me?
Yes, I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, you know what? Getting settled in back home, I have not. I'm just thinking here. All I've been doing is editing, and actually I had to redo my spreadsheet with all the videos that I've got. I got a ton of flying in while I was in Florida, so I have all those videos to edit, and then I have some footage from even before that. And DeMarco, you were talking about how the Mini 3 is good in the wind. I have one that some footage that I haven't published yet. I had the Mini 3 out over the Snake River Canyon in 30-mile-an-hour gusts, and that little dude did just fine. So it is a remarkable piece of technology. So yeah. Okay, so I'm thinking I'm going to get in trouble with my boss Ron Brown if I don't if I don't start in on our list here. So the first thing that Ron's got on our agenda is to talk about the Fimi Mini version 2. And I'm getting an echo from someplace.
Not me.
Okay, but anyway, it launched today and on AliExpress, $299. There's with regard to the specifications, it is incremental would be the best way to describe it. It's got a little bit bigger sensor, 1/2.5, and they have, and you guys may know what this means. I don't. It says it has a stacked CMOS sensor camera. Anybody in the chat, if you know what that means, put that out there. Hey, and I want to point out, and look, Mark White just said he likes those wasabi almonds, DeMarco. So
Killing it.
yeah, killing
Get
it.
them at Walmart. Only at Walmart. Thank you.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, but it also they're saying a 100 megabit bit rate, which is a good thing, and of course it's always had USB-C charging. They showed the range on it just incrementally better, but one of the things they were bragging about is how much better the video quality is. So Johnny, you ordered one, didn't you?
No.
Well then surely DeMarco did.
I wouldn't buy it if it was $199. That's just me.
Well, John probably bought two after the luck he had with his first Mini.
Oh yeah, of course. I'm ordering all the Fimis.
Yeah. I did. I ordered one.
That doesn't
Really?
surprise me.
Yeah.
But we need the Idaho quadcopter angle. I mean, he's got to buy it.
And thank you, John. I appreciate that. And I kind of do feel a little bit of a obligation because I know some people tune into my channel looking for things like that. So I figured for $299, let's see how it does. And if the camera is much better as what they say it is, hey, it'll be pretty good. The original one that I had, as you guys know, it took me, I went through 4 Fimi Minis before I got one that actually worked. And I still have that one. I still fly it occasionally. And it's okay. It is by far the fastest mini drone out there. It will go up to 18 meters per second. So that's roughly.
What's the flight time, Marcus?
40 miles an hour. Oh gosh, I don't remember it being remarkable. I'm going to just say 20 minutes. I don't think it was. They have two kinds of batteries. They have the Pro battery that keeps it under 249 grams, and then they have another battery. But I think their flight time that's a little bit heavier. But I think their flight time is about the same. But it was, as I recall, a pretty good performer. It performed okay. So, people had, and John, you'll remember this. Remember the vignetting that we used to see with that drone, and tilted horizon and so forth. You had a bad tilt, right, John, on your original Fimi Mini?
Yeah, mine was awful. That was what, a couple years ago now. It was
Right.
just ridiculous. I sent the thing back to B&H Photo and Video.
Right. And our friend Ryan Duvall, his actually seemed to work pretty good right out of the box. But so I guess it depends on what, who actually screwed it together that day or whatever. But
I'm good with the DJI Mini too. I'm happy with that. I don't want any Fimi crap at this point anymore. I just don't see the point really. Most people don't need to waste their time with stuff like, maybe the new one will work. We'll have to see.
I'll tell you why people.
I will not be one of them.
And I absolutely understand, John, and I totally understand your position. And Johnny, did you ever have one? You had one, didn't you? Yeah. And how was yours? Yeah. I can't. Johnny, can you do a sign language?
Is that better?
Are
Yeah,
the almonds in your
better.
ears? Or in your mic, I mean?
Yeah, I got 2 minutes. Yeah, I had the original, the Fimi that John had, that same one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Captain Ray also has it still. He tried to sell it, but well, actually, he did sell it, I believe. Yeah.
So what happened to yours, Johnny?
I sold it.
You did?
Yeah.
But did you? Can you give me your impressions of it? How did it fly? How did it?
It never really did good. The tilted horizon, never could get it to fly straight, and that's my biggest concern. The little toy drones seem to fly straight, but Fimi just can't seem to get it. I know John had some major problems, but that was the second Fimi I had, and it's same story.
Yeah, they're just too inconsistent. And I've gotten to fly. My friend Patrick, he's in the chat. One eye to the sky there. He's got the Fimi 2018 and I think the 2020. And actually, I can't remember which one works better than the other. But those aren't perfect either. If you want a reliable quad, the Fimis are just crap, unfortunately. And now that the bar has just been lowered, we've talked about this before. The Fimis used to be a really cheap go-to when the bar for getting a DJI was higher. So now it ends up not being worth the time,
So Rod is saying that the stacked is good for low light and no jello. So that's interesting. I'll have to do some research into that to understand the technology. But thank you for that, Rod. So anyway, we probably beat that to death. I guess Lon is saying it'll give you 2 different ISOs and better detail. So
if it works,
interesting to see. Yeah. It sounds like maybe
Lon is buying one.
Lon is getting one.
Lon has one. He used to. I don't know if he still. I think he tried to crash it, so I don't know. I don't know if Lon's is still alive or not. Lon actually won his. Yeah.
Yeah, he did an auction for like $29, I believe.
Yeah, from the Half Chrome guys is where he won his. Yeah, I remember that.
But don't they always say that the people who buy those mostly are overseas?
I don't know. Probably.
Like Cuppi was saying. Why even get that when you can get something that's reliable, known reliable for the same price?
$339 for the Mini 2 SE DeMarco. Yeah. So, or the DeMarco Mini 2 SE, which is, that's $40 more. And
I'm laughing at Lon.
Yeah, it's funny you bring that up, DeMarco, because not only for some reason overseas can DJI products be more expensive. It used to be. It's not so much anymore that someone overseas in certain countries will be able to order from Banggood or AliExpress or one of those places, and they would be able to evade taxes. I think all of that changed just maybe a couple years ago now that they finally caught up to it. You can't evade taxes on the product as easily anymore. So for some of those people, it would end up being a substantial amount of money to go with a Fimi or something like that. It would be worth the roll of the dice, so to speak. But now it's just not worth it. I think I don't know if there are that many people even overseas buying this stuff anymore.
Well, like,
I mean, if you look at like groups like RC groups, for example, and you pull up any Fimi thread, it's like crickets, to be honest with you. Like, there's just not a whole lot of discussion. Whereas these sites were hopping, the Facebook groups for this stuff, they were hopping. Now it's so quiet. I think a lot of people are just done with their crap, to be honest with you.
So I think we can recap that a little bit, John. In 2018, when that Fimi X8 SE originally came out, it was under $400, and it was a full featured product. So it generated a lot of excitement. And but of course, then it was problematic. 2020 comes out. I think the 2020 was worse than the 2018. It had a lot of problems. My 2022, it's okay, although I've had problems with that as well. I don't like having problems with my drone. I like drones that fly right out of the box and do what they do. Fimi Mini, we just beat that to death, all the issues with that. Now they're coming out with a new version. I hope this one is better, but we don't. I guess we'll know when we see it, won't we?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing over there are the other parts of the, outside the U.S. and stuff, that under the 250 is a big deal. So yeah.
That's very true. That's another good point. And that's many drones are popular for whatever reason. Yeah,
absolutely.
No doubt. So we got what I'm considering the big topic of the day next up here. And so DJI recently released the Integra goggles and the Motion Controller 2 last week for the Avata drone. And the Integra goggles, I'm not going to talk about those much. We're going to let John talk about that in a second here. However, what I've seen of the Motion Controller 2, it looks pretty interesting in that you can reverse the drone. Now, I've also seen like people doing videos on it and that say it doesn't reverse very fast. They push it into reverse and it's very slow. If you watch Billy Kyle's video, you can adjust all that within the app and you can actually reverse it pretty fast. So there's tuning that you need to do. I guess what I'm saying is you get that new motion controller, you need to do some tuning. The Avata drone, I'm just going to say in general, the first time I saw one in person was at the South Florida Drone Meetup, and we had to be careful not to trip over drones because they were running around our feet and between our legs and all over the place. But I'll tell you what, to a person, everybody that has one, they were having a ton of fun. Yeah. So John, I don't know if you can speak to the motion controller too, but I know you can speak to the Integra goggles and just in general how it is to fly that drone. Let us know how that worked out for you.
Yeah. So okay. I was lucky enough to have a good friend, the doc, let me try his Integra goggles. And first thing I noticed when I put them on, my biggest complaint about the original goggle 2 was that I couldn't get a clear focus in the optics around all the edges. There would be blurring and vignetting. It would suck. All right. So what I want everyone to know here is that if you tried the goggle 2 and have had that issue where you can't focus around the edges in the optics, give these new goggles a chance because the Integra will very likely have resolved that problem for you. Now, the way they solved it has made some people a little unhappy because basically they just decreased the field of view. And I think they pulled the optics in just a little bit closer internally in the goggle, because now instead of the diopter adjustments being internal, it's fully external. You pop a little lens in and that's your correction. It's not built into the goggle. So they brought it really, really close and they decreased the field of view from like 51 degrees to 44. Now, when I was flying, and I'm going to start to talk about some stuff that I didn't mention in the video. When I was flying with the Integra, my thought wasn't, oh God, I'm flying with 44 degrees field of view. No, my thought was, this looks friggin' great. The OLED optics are awesome, and that with that degree reduction, I could just see everything. It was a good experience. I don't feel that the field of view reduction is that big of a deal. It was still a very immersive, and everything looked fantastic. So yeah, that's basically the number one thing. They fixed that optics issue.
John, so I've heard people have said that there is a range difference between the Integra goggles and the goggles too. Did you notice anything in that regard?
I really didn't range test it per se. I know that the Integra goggle antennas are actually a little longer, but I didn't notice any just in the immediate area that I was flying, which wasn't very far. I didn't notice anything off the bat. I will say that one thing I don't like about the Integra is that you're stuck with the antennas that DJI gives you. And if you're just planning on flying the Avata, that's fine. But for the Vistas and the home built stuff, I really don't like that I can't change the antennas out. So we might get into that a little bit later.
Yeah, that makes sense. And excuse me if I missed it, but you said you did not use the motion controller too, or you did?
I did. I just didn't use everything to the fullest extent. Like I didn't know. I just until I watched Billy's video that you can change the reverse speed. When I tried it, it definitely was really, really slow. But
you could reverse with it. You could back out of things. Yeah.
And that motion controller is fun.
Yeah, one of the coolest features that they were talking about was the joystick on top of it now. So you can just simply push up to raise the drone.
Yes, it's so good, and it makes maneuvering it a lot more intuitive. Yeah, the motion control too is definitely a big improvement over the original.
Yeah. Interesting stuff. Questions in the chat? Anybody has anything they want to know about the Integra goggles? Now,
so John, the Integra goggles fit your face better too, right? I mean, I know.
Yes and no, Johnny. So the comfort improved significantly, especially given the fact that the face mold is the same, the plastic mold itself, but they added the little pillow for the back of your head, and they added the head strap support. And between that locking mechanism with the strap and the head strap over your head, you can actually put the goggles on your face and lift them up off your cheekbones and a little bit up off your nose. And I still feel pressure on my, big old fat Italian nose bridge there.
Don, the battery is right in the back. Was that possible?
Yeah, I didn't feel the battery was uncomfortable at all. It's not a whole ton of weight on your head, and it's well balanced. I feel like it's pretty well balanced.
Does that battery come out, John, or no?
It does not, and that's actually a downside of the Integra. I was gonna actually maybe do what I like first, and then talk about the downsides after.
Right.
But yeah, comfort. I would say it's tolerable is the way I would describe it. I can tolerate the Integra. The goggle too were just basically unusable for me. And I can accept that. I really didn't expect DJI to redo the face mold, because I'm sorry. I think that the face mold construction is still not good for a lot of people's faces. It's just not. If you have a pronounced noggin like I do, okay, especially at the bridge there, like a lot of us Italian folks have, then it's just gonna run into it, and there's not a whole lot of room there. But the Integra did a good job of trying to get some support, and it's funny that this was the solution from DJI, because when I uploaded the video that I did about the goggle too, in the comments, one of the top suggestions by people was if only it had like an over the head strap like the original V2 and V1 goggle did, to help kind of give it some support, to help like angle it up. And it's kind of sad in a sense, because DJI did finally address this. And I also, I want to thank the community for making a lot of noise about this, because everybody who commented and busted DJI's balls to actually do something about this. I think that's the only reason the Integra has these improvements. You know, I think they figured out they screwed this up. So, but it sucks because I told people, and this is sort of an I told you so thing, but I told people, do not keep these goggles if you have both of the issues that I do, because I genuinely felt that they were not going to just be solvable with a new foam, because I already tried putting on some different, foams, and I couldn't get it to work. It was just a disaster. So they fixed it. They addressed it. I'm glad that they did. But it was all because we all made some noise about it. So yeah.
The other big feature that I've read about is GPS within the goggles themselves, so you don't have to hook your phone up to it to satisfy remote ID.
Correct. Yeah, it's got a GPS in it, and so you don't have to tether your phone to the goggle. Yep. It's a great goggle to use with the Avata, in my opinion.
Which is a plus or minus, depending on how you look at it.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people that do not like that there's that GPS in there in those goggles, and that's a whole other ball of wax.
Whole nother conversation. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a whole other conversation. But just to keep things simple, it's convenient that you don't have to have your phone dangling from it. And you also don't have, since the battery's in there too, you don't have to have a wire dangling from it either, which is cool.
That's a big deal. I'm telling you, because one of the things that always that turned me off when I had the DJI FPV drone, that was one of the things that turned me on. God, I felt like I had so much junk hanging off of me just to fly the. No, I'm not kidding, Johnny.
Yeah, I see. I mean, I could see that would definitely be easier having a battery. Of course, some people made comments. You strapping a battery to your head and all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah. Well,
it's a double-edged sword though, because it's convenient to not have the cables hanging, right? But what I'm worried about is self-service down the road in the future. You can't it wasn't designed to change the batteries out. And I've gone through a few goggle batteries in the lifetime, from my Sky Zones to Fat Sharks. They get tired, you got to replace them. Doesn't seem like they really thought too hard about that. The other thing I'm wondering, and we'll see if this becomes a problem over time. The wires for the battery are built into the strap. Hopefully they're strongly built and that they don't break over time, but it is something that I'm wondering if it could become an issue down the line. We'll have to see.
See, somebody like you would think about that. That probably would never occur to me. Hey, one of the things that Lon is saying in the chat was he mentioned that the goggles 2 and the goggles version 2 are for the FPV flyers. The Integra goggles really were designed for the Avata only.
So it doesn't work with anything else, the FPV or nothing, or
no. The Integra goggles will work with the older Vistas and the older air units and whatnot. Was the Integra goggle, I think, designed to help sell the Avata? I think yes. The answer is probably yes. That the $150 price reduction is really nice too. It makes it easier for people to buy into the package. But I still also think that you can use it if you're a traditional FPV guy. You are gonna be at a slight disadvantage because you can't change out those antennas. That's the one thing I really wish that I could change those antennas out. It's an incentive to keep my V1 or V2 for flexibility. But if I was going to go for an 03 air unit, since I have the DJI V1, I would still consider the Integra. It's either going to be the V2 or the Integra for me, and that's still sort of up in the air because I'm sorry, the V2 goggle is still one of the most flexible DJI goggles that you can buy. Antennas can be whatever the hell you want them to be. They've got a higher refresh rate than either the Goggle 2 or the Integra. All right, that's something a lot of people don't talk about, because whether latency matters to you is a whole other story. But the Vistas can do 120 FPS, but the Integra goggles, they're only 100 hertz. So you're losing 3 to 5 milliseconds of latency because it can't do that higher refresh rate in those goggles. So all these things matter to people, and it's a conundrum. It's a conundrum. I love the freedom that the V2 goggle offers you, but then again, that form factor and those OLED optics are just beautiful, especially now that I can actually friggin' see them. So it's a little bit of a toss. I mean, like, yeah, I can actually see them right now. When I couldn't see them before, I was like, screw it, screw this goggle too. So
yeah. Hey, so like I said, I think for me and I think for DeMarco as well, really when we were at the South Florida Drone Meetup, that's really our first experience with the Avata at all, other than watching videos. And by the way, I want to thank Barkley 107 Drones. When we were at the hotel, he let me look in his version 2 or not version 2, goggles 2, and I actually could see because really only this eye is doing the work. I really could still see the whole screen except for that very bottom left-hand side of the screen. Just the very corner I couldn't see. So, I mean, I think it's certainly something I could live with. And it was really fun watching everybody just have a blast.
Avata, they had some Avatas at the meetup, didn't they?
fun.
Oh, my God.
One or
Fun,
two
yeah.
I saw.
Yeah,
I saw
one or
fly
two.
by
One
my
or
ears.
two. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
No, Marcus, here I say this. I mean, the people who were flying them just looked like they were having a fun time. Now they're all 60 and up, but it still looked fun.
What are you saying, DeMarco?
Yeah. What do you guys?
No.
What are you guys down there saying?
No,
Is this a
they
challenge?
looked fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm actually thinking about it now. Like, maybe I should.
Oh.
What'll happen to the potato then?
We'll see.
Oh, out the door. Out the
Yeah.
door.
Out with the old.
Yeah, I'm closer than ever to DeMarco to perhaps pulling the trigger. Particularly, we got first hand knowledge now of also what a versatile, strong drone it is. Alexis, hers fell. John, I don't know if you know about this. Her Avata fell from 250 feet in the air.
No, I didn't know that.
Hit the roof of a building, landed on the ground, and it was really virtually undamaged. It threw a prop is what happened. One of the props, I don't know if it broke or we don't know what happened, but it went tumbling down, bounced off a roof of a building, and Barkley actually there was a couple of by the antenna. There was one little piece of the body work that came undone, so Barkley fixed that for her in about a few minutes, and it flew. They were flying it around in the lobby of the hotel, and yeah, so it is a tough little drone. And she didn't have any of the what do you call them, the rib riders or whatever. Nothing. There was
She just taking it out the box. Yes.
Alexis had no protection. Yeah. So yeah.
I see that comment there by Melanie and the Bear Dogs. Goggle 2 perfect fit as is for me. No reason to change. I agree. If they work great for you and they fit, then just keep them. There's pretty much no reason not to. They're more flexible than the Integra, since you can change out the antennas if you want to. But for a lot of people like me, they're literally just unusable. Most uncomfortable goggle I have ever used, and the optics are a disaster. So, but yeah, if you're somebody that they work for, keep them. Absolutely.
And by the way, Melanie was at the South Florida Drone Meetup again this year, and it was really fun seeing her again this year. So, that's kind of one of those events that you see people at once a year, right? So, yeah, yep. Let's see.
Just saying, Cuppi. We got to get Cuppi over there.
I know, Coop. When you coming to a meetup?
At some point I will. See. Got to work it out.
Oh yeah.
Spin up's coming up, John. So you maybe come to spin up.
That's the thing. Everybody's got logistics to worry about, and it's it's
I'm glad everyone had a really good time at SFDM though. Looks like you guys had a lot of fun.
It was.
Maddie, speaking of SFDM, Maddie says V2s are just fine for me. I agree with that too. V2, awesome goggle. super, super flexible. Nothing wrong with sticking with that either.
Yeah. Hey, so here, this next one that Ron has on the list here, and I did not see this video, but evidently Jim's Droning in Canada had trouble binding his Integra goggles to his Avata, but it said with John's help, he got it sorted. Was that you, John Cuppi?
Yeah. So Jim reached out to me. He was having a weird error about a firmware mismatch between his Integra and the Avata, but the interesting thing was he was saying that he had updated everything and the app was saying that it was all up to date. So I think if I recall correctly, I told him to just refresh the firmware in Assistant 2 and that did it. And I think that's something you guys have had to do as well with other DJI products, that sometimes you just need to refresh the firmware, right?
Yep.
That's a little DJI tip. Just refresh the firmware in Assistant 2, but make sure you have the latest version of Assistant 2 as well, right?
That's right.
For whatever product you're using.
Yeah, that's right. You can't just depend on that Assistant 2 that you downloaded 3
forever
months ago
ago.
or whatever. Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
That
Always
is,
useful to reload the firmware in case something gets botched.
yeah. Kind of like rebooting your computer or whatever. Get all that stuff right. Okay, so any other questions in the chat about the Avata or the goggles? John is here to answer.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
if not, we are going to move on here. The other thing, the other kind of big news is that it looks like the Inspire 3 is going to come pretty quick, very soon. Ron has in the notes on April 13th, and I think that's the email we all got from DJI. So I got to be honest with all of you. The Inspire 3 is just not a drone that I can even speak intelligently about. I don't know much about those kind of cinema capable drones, and it's at the price point that it's going to be. It's probably not something that I don't know if I'll ever even see one in real life. So
you're not hitting the buy button, is what you're saying, Marcus.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm.
How about you, John?
The rumors are in the U.S. that it's
no
going to
idea.
be. The rumors are in the U.S. that it's going to be well over $10,000.
Oh, I thought you were going to say 5.
Yeah, let me tell you this, DeMarco, less than 15,000, but closer to 15 than 10.
Damn.
That hurts to even hear that.
Yeah.
Wait, hey, Johnny, Coop.
Oh God, no!
Take it away.
I have no idea about the. I have no idea about that new Inspire, man. It's completely off my radar.
Yeah.
I see Lauren is saying in the chat that we won't see it till probably mid-May or so, even though they're introducing it here.
Well,
pretty
I'm not
quick.
going to see it at all.
Yeah, I was just seeing that in the chat as well.
Yeah, and that's
it, DeMarco.
Yeah, no, you're right, DeMarco. We're not, and so really, I just think if you're doing commercial work, particularly television work or cinema work, I'm sure it is probably the premier drone that you would have in your kit.
Yep.
For most of us in here, it just isn't even anything we can think about. We might see. I see Lauren is in the chat. He may drop a few hints about what we can see on that drone, but I don't know.
Oh God.
Well, that's kind of his.
Lon's a troublemaker as usual.
I saw that as well. I was trying to ignore it, John.
It's fine.
Marcus,
he wants to be noticed. He's
Marcus,
desperate
it's like
to be
seeing
noticed. Okay.
Seeing like a Lamborghini up close. You think, oh, that's really cool, but like you don't want it. Well, at least I wouldn't want it. It's nice to look at, though.
I don't even know if it's that for me. I see Lon is saying that he's going to get a chance to fly it. And yeah, like I'm with you, Lon. If I had a chance to fly that big dog, I think it'd be fun. I sure as heck wouldn't turn it down. But yeah, not anything that I think many of us will be purchasing. So no more comments from the panel on that one, huh?
Nope.
Thank you, boys.
I was just reading some of the Integra comments. There were some good messages in there. Hot Rod and Daytona mentioned that it's easier to swap optics for people with the Integra. Yeah, that's actually true. I think that's actually true. If you have the lenses on you, yeah, it's pretty quick and easy.
Yeah.
Well, John, I'm closer to buying
The goggles too with the adjustable diopters are easier to share. Yeah, that's I got that backwards. Sorry. Yeah.
I get you. I get your
got
point.
it backwards. But I got the message.
But I think Johnny probably feels the same way I do. And DeMarco just said he did.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I'm closer to buying it now than I was before. I'm not saying I am, but I might. I sure saw people having a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, I will admit, it was fun to watch those guys, and they were flying. And I had I'll say a bunch of people asked me to fly it. I just don't want to fly anybody else's drone, but it was pretty interesting. Man, they were having a blast. I will say that.
Yeah.
What do you mean you don't want to fly anybody else's drone, Johnny?
I don't want to fly anybody else's drone.
You sure handed me the controls to that V-copter pretty quick.
Well, I mean, I was trying to, you got to set the hook first, and then you.
That's what was going on there. Yeah. Mr.
Hey,
John,
a few people are asking, like they bought the goggles, the goggles
To
too.
be able to ride in it. Absolutely, Patrick. Absolutely.
Hey, John.
Yes,
people were asking, a couple people in the chat were saying they bought the goggles too. Now the Integra are a little cheaper. So, is that kind of,
I mean, if you have them, I would say it's not worth, if you have them and they work good for you, it's not worth crying over. If you have them and they don't work perfect for you,
right,
then I would say cry and take the loss and sell it. Because comfort and optics, if you have trouble with either of those things, there's just something horrible about spending all that money on a goggle and having those issues. So, yeah. But if you're cool with it, then go ahead.
Gotcha.
Okay.
And for the record, I still think that the Integra is a good choice if you're going to go 03 air unit and you want that form factor. It's just my opinion.
Right.
I mean, I could get that, keep my V1 for all my Vista stuff. And that could be my dedicated 03 air unit goggle is the way I was thinking.
Yeah.
So of everybody on the panel here, how many of you have watched that 1950s science fiction movie War of the Worlds?
Oh, I own it.
Yeah. So yeah, that's right, DeMarco. I know, because DeMarco and I and Uncle Kev and Ron and Susan, we spent a whole dinner one day talking about 1950s science fiction movies. But here's what I'm getting at. I'm leading you all into something. So you remember that those big spaceships would go around, and then there'd be the little thing that would come in the window and look in the house. You remember what that looked like, DeMarco? What was the primary feature of that little sensor thing that came looking in the house?
The eyes, right? The eyeball. It was red and green.
It had three, right?
Yeah, three. Yeah.
It had three lenses on there. That takes us to the Mavic 3 Pro.
Oh.
The first time I saw the Mavic 3 Pro, it reminded me of War of the Worlds and those three eyeballs looking at you.
It's definitely weird looking, I tell you that. I mean, when you first see it.
It's creepy.
Yeah.
Andrew, yeah. The long arms too.
Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah. Hey, so we're starting to, we all know from experience that when we start seeing all the little spy releases and all the things dropping, the drone is not far behind. And we're also kind of trained that when we start seeing that stuff to believe it, because when I first saw those pictures of the Mini 3 Pro, I thought, holy cow, that's something somebody photoshopped together. No, sure enough, that was the real deal. Well, this Mavic 3 appears to be the real deal too. And there is a rumor that the Mavic 3 Pro was flying around Dolman Park at the South Florida Drone Meetup. Now, none of us got to look at it because it was up in the air.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't hear about that at all.
we just got saying they could have done the GPS and the goggles too. That's where we got screwed. Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of funny, you know, because when I got to borrow the Avata for a while, those videos are all up and all those initial reviews are up with nobody having a wire dangling from their head. But then come what, December, it all changed. Although, does the workaround, I haven't tried this in a while, does the workaround where you can still pull the wire off the goggle still function, or no? Does it prevent you from flying? Because there was a bug where you could unplug your phone after you got in the air and it would just still let you fly. Did they patch that yet or no?
Well, that would be news to me, but I heard just like you did that you only had to have it on there initially, then you could unhook it and you were good.
Okay, yeah. Supposedly that's like a flaw. I don't think it's supposed to work that way. But
well, and like you said, it sure would be something that would be so easy to patch with firmware.
Yeah.
Somebody would.
I'm sure they don't want to, but
and that could be, yeah.
Oh.
And Barkley is saying he wants to see my review of the new Inspire. Just keep waiting for that, Barkley. Well, truthfully, Barkley, I'd like to see that review too. It'd be fun. If anybody's got an Inspire 3 that they'd let me review, I'd love it. I'd love it.
Marcus is going to have to buy like 3 Fimis to get the review done of that first before he can even consider dropping on the Inspire.
That's true. How many will it take? 3 or 4 Fimis?
Yeah, it might take who knows?
Before I get a good one. Maybe we can.
How many Fimi Minis did you go through before you finally got one that actually worked correctly?
Well, 4,
like 3 of them?
So,
3 or 4?
4, yeah. So this one might be this could be 5.
Yeah, who the hell knows?
Yeah. So Lon is saying the big Inspire package is about 15 grand and includes the Ronin 4D. So that's a lot of money. Hopefully you wouldn't have to go through 4 of those to get it.
Yeah, you're not lying. Wow. That's a Corvette. Well, no, there's a half, 3/4 of a Corvette.
Yeah, you don't even want to know what I paid for my Corvette, Mr. Johnny. It'd buy a lot of drones. Let me put it to you that way.
I hear you.
But the back to the Mavic 3, I think that is coming, and I'll definitely pull the trigger on that just because the Mavic 3 Pro is going to be the quintessential prosumer drone. The Mavic 3 currently is, and so this is that next step up for that. And I'm just doing it not because I have any special need or skill for what all those lenses will do. I just like messing around with that stuff. So that's kind of where I'm coming from. And so we'll see what those lenses, we sure know. One of them is still micro 4/3. Another one is telephoto. Now, is it more than 7 by now? I don't know. One of them looks like maybe it's a wide angle lens to me. So I'm thinking you've got a wide angle, you've got the micro 4/3 regular lens, and then a telephoto, but don't know for sure. And Lon is saying in the chat that the Mavic 3 Pro, he's guessing will be out. He said the word is on the 25th, so that's pretty quick.
How much will it be? How much you think it'll be?
So we'll see leak after leak.
Rumored price.
More and more every day.
Yeah, so here I'll take a shot at that, DeMarco. The one that I bought, just the plain Mavic 3 with the single battery, at the time was $2,100 or 21 something, so almost 22. I can't believe that they would price this more than 25. So
that's a good one.
Can't believe. Anyway, we'll see. So
but that box that we saw last week, the picture came out, had the Mavic 3 Pro and the RC Pro all in one. I wonder.
I did not have the RC Pro. It had the DJI RC.
Yeah. You didn't know, but the box that was leaked had that package. So I wonder how much that would be, because the RC Pro won't be $1,000 added on to that Mavic 3. Probably about $600 maybe added on to it. So
yeah, who knows? I would guess if you bought the kit with the RC Pro, I'm sure you're at least $3,000, if not a little more.
Absolutely, yeah.
The DJI RC, I'm sure somewhat less, and with the RCN1, which is the one I would get because I already have an RC Pro, I'm hoping is under $2,500, yeah, I just need to sell my Mavic 3, and then I'll be good to go.
$34.99. Joe says. I don't know. That seems high, Joe.
That seems awful. Well, that might be possibly with the RC Pro.
Yeah, that's
I don't know, but yeah, that does seem a little bit high. Yeah, and so Lon is saying about the same. So that'd be great, Lon. And if it is, that's awesome. So if I could get that for $2,200, man, I would be happy as a clam. Happy as a clam. And I see Mark Fisher is saying, he's working on a commercial. So I thought he was talking about. I thought he was going to say something about using that new Mavic 3 in his commercial work. So. Yeah,
you're doing a lot of
Very
doing a lot of work with the Avata.
Yeah. That Avata. That's one of the points about it is that camera is so much better than what was on the Potato. That a lot of people are doing so many things with it. Yeah.
The camera on the Avata is beautiful. You know, actually reminds me of another point about the Integra that we didn't talk about. They put the joystick on the Integra and it's got a little back button. I don't know about you guys, but I hated that touch screen on the Goggle 2. I just couldn't get used to it. You know, for those of you guys in the chat who have the Goggle 2, I'm really curious. Do you actually like that touch thing, or do you just kind of put up with it because it's there? Because the analog joystick to me just feels so natural. But then again, I have been using goggles with analog joysticks on them probably for the last since like 2016. So it's just what I'm used to. But I felt like every time I was using that thing, I would either swipe too far or I just swipe, into the wrong menu. I just could never get it down. There's just something about it.
John, you got a question from Barclay there. I don't know if you see it.
Quadcopters and Tech does not like the touch bar. Yeah.
Above that, about here, I'm going to highlight it. Yeah, Ron got it for us here. He's talking about the O3 Air unit.
Man, see, I don't have the O3 Air unit, so I wish I could advise you better on that one. Now, you're not dealing with a GPS, are you, on there? If there's a GPS on there, you have to think about where you're putting that a little more. See, it is a bit of a pain in the ass. The O3 Air unit requires like a custom frame, especially for the camera mounting too, to have the least amount of jello and all that for the gyro. I don't know, man. I wish I could advise you better because I haven't done any O3 builds, so just not in the cards for me there.
Max Air 420 says he loves touching it.
Yeah.
I'll just leave that line right there.
Touch is great and weatherproof versus a joystick. Weatherproof goggles is not really something I have ever thought about having a feature. What about you guys? Do you guys worry about flying in the rain?
No.
No, I don't either.
Yeah.
I can speak for Johnny. No, I can't.
Don't do it. Yeah.
Marcus, no.
Is Johnny flown in the rain before?
All
This
good
sounds like a
respect,
story.
Hot Rod.
No.
Yeah.
There's no story with that, DeMarco?
No. Like we aren't the like the rain and the cold weather flyers like you are. That was a joke. Yeah.
Some people like it, some people hate it. Yeah,
right.
I'm in the camp that hated it. I hated the touchscreen. I'm absolutely happy to do without it. Just use the analog stick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't fly in the rain. No need to. Yeah.
Unless
if I feel a raindrop on me and I'm flying FPV, that's when I'm like, oh crap, I gotta land like right now. I don't.
Yeah.
All right, drone.
Yeah.
So let me ask you guys,
$500 goggles in the rain. That's for sure, dude.
Who on the panel is going to or is considering the Mavic 3 Pro? Come on, Mr. Johnny. You were thinking about the Mavic 3. Why would you go for the Pro then?
I mean, if I would,
the crickets dot wave.
I mean, that's what I would get. I would not get the Mavic 3. I would just step up and get that.
Yeah.
Where's your soundboard, Marcus? We need the crickets.
Yeah, no kidding. That would be good. But
tell Lon to invest in a soundboard. He's got to invest the profits from this show.
There.
Where's our soundboard?
Stop buying drones and invest in a soundboard.
Ron's in the back room there, and he's not even smiling. I can see him down at the bottom of the screen.
Well, you're here to bring the smiles, Marcus.
Yeah,
that's what you do here.
That's my
Ron
job.
brings
Right?
the content. You just smile.
Yeah. Ron does the work. I just show up and smile. I love every minute of it. Yeah. Well, listen, all kidding aside, I will be the first one to tell you that Ron Brown is the heart and soul of this show.
On
that, we wish him well.
Hold on, Marcus. On that,
COVID.
that spy shot of the screen, it's showing of the Mavic 3 Pro. It's showing a magnification of 7 and then 3. So is that?
I would say
that.
I would say
why
3
is it separated like that from 7 to 3? Like why is it?
True.
Because that's just like the Mavic Pro or the Mavic 3 is right now. You got your the Micro Four Thirds camera. We'll go up to that 3 by
okay.
zoom,
okay.
And then it skips up to 7.
Okay.
So that's what you're looking at there. And so maybe that's what they say. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. The thing is, we haven't seen the specs yet. So how the heck do we know?
Yeah.
But I want to stay on the prosumer side, and I feel like the Mavic 3 is the top of the pro. Yeah, I bet you don't, Ron.
Lauren
Look, you're grinning right there. Look at that picture next to Ron. We're both grinning right there.
Yeah.
Hey, where's the new picture at?
Yeah. Where's the new picture? Where's the? I tried to put DeMarco in the middle when we were taking that picture, but he wouldn't do it. He would have nothing. No,
Ron's the heart and soul. He needs to be in the middle.
Okay. Couldn't get DeMarco to go in the middle on that.
Yeah, I tell you what.
I'm
scratching mosquitoes bites.
Ron says the new picture has COVID.
Yeah, that's a good point.
No, well, listen, we were out there 2 minutes, and the mosquitoes had jumped on us, and they were gang members. I mean, they just ganged up on it was unbelievable. I had never seen anything like that.
Hey, Lon Denard, send me a link. I haven't seen it. Send me a link if you got it. I missed it. Is it on the website, Lon? I'm sorry. I guess I just, I haven't seen it.
Oh, Marcus, you're slipping.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be Idaho quadcopter.
Hey, we got one more item on the. No, we got a couple more items, so we better get to them here. The DJI released the new firmware version for the Mini 3 Pro, and what it allowed, the biggest thing that it did was allow you to change the expo settings. And I actually witnessed Mr. Brown do that. We were out at Carlin Park. He put his Mavic 3 Pro in Cine mode, put everything clear down to the bottom, and really what it kind of gave you was tripod mode again. He was able to move the drone very slow, and I know a lot of people miss tripod mode that we had on the original Mavic Pro. You're able to adjust that into that Mini 3 Pro now if that's what you like to do. So that's a good thing. We have something else on the list here. Brought to you by 107 Drones, Barkley. Found this at Costco. The Evo Light Plus combo. This is stunning to me. This is the combo. Johnny, you thought you and I got a good deal when we bought ours? $849 Costco online.
Yeah, that's
for the Avata Light Plus fly. What they don't call it.
Autel.
And what does Autel call it? Not the Fly More combo. What are they? Premium combo.
Premium bundle. Yeah.
Yeah, premium bundle they call it, with the extra batteries and. So
yeah, Barkley sent me that. I was wow, that's a hell of a bargain right there.
Yeah. Ron says he's heading to Costco right now. So, really, we are at the top of the hour. So let's go around the room real quick. Mr. Johnny, how you doing? And what you got? Any a show maybe tomorrow night you might want to plug or anything?
Yeah, we got the Fly for Fun show tomorrow night. We got Gary Fawcett and Jim Beauchart. We want to get their views on coming to the U.S. and what kind of fun they had at the meetup. And I will say, also, Captain Ray had a FPV, a little Cinewhoop, almost like the Avata, but Ray's going to send me some pictures actually. So we're going to give that drone away Dobo had donated it. It was still in his car, so we're gonna give it away tomorrow night on the Fly for Fun show. So
Hey, and by the way, I made a mistake. It is Wednesday night. You're going to give that away. I said tomorrow night, and that's
Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Yeah, we'll
thank you, Ron, for pointing that out to us because I made that mistake as well. DeMarco Moore, there's got to be something you're going to plug.
Nothing plugging. No, there are no videos coming. Oh, thanks for the drone. Drone. No, it was good. It's good to be home. The trip last week was amazing. Lots of laughing, lots of flying. The highlights. One of the highlights is we had how many drones were in the air on Sunday? 16?
18.
And what was so funny about that is no one was moving. We were all just
yeah.
And then once Ray said that's it, like we all just sort of like backed away slowly. Yeah.
Hey, DeMarco, though, you got to talk about one of the biggest highlights, and that's just when you and Uncle Kev went to dinner with Ron and Susan and myself. We had a great discussion. We were talking about we were cracking each other up the whole dinner, talking about movies and so forth. But Ron Brown had us in stitches. We were rolling on the floor. Uncle Kev and I'm surprised we could still sit up in our seats. My stomach hurt so bad it was not even funny. Ron Brown is good at telling a story.
Yeah, he was telling a story. I'm not gonna say the whole story.
Don't do the hand movement. Don't do the hand movement.
He was telling a story, and it's like he was talking about a certain body part, and it got a little awkward because his wife was sitting next to us. So we were all looking at Ron and then looking at Susan and then looking at Ron, and he started getting nervous. It sounded like we had to jump in and save him. But no, it was a great trip, great food. Coop, like you got to come down for one of these just to hang out. It was windy on Saturday. Well, I'll take that back. It started off nice on Saturday and then slowly got windy. I only saw one drone crash on Saturday. That was a fun one, right above our heads too, actually. And then Sunday was nice, but no, it was great. It was great seeing you too. So in the chat too, all the names in the chat. I'm not going to say a name, because I'll forget a name. So, but great. So
yeah.
When you guys had all those drones in the air, I'm really curious. What kind of signal quality do you get to your phone? Is it potato quality, or is it actually not?
There were issues from time to time. So
there were issues. Yes.
Here's what I noticed, and you guys chime in too. I noticed the time that I had the most issues is when somebody was first firing up their ground station, and when they were taking off. But once they got in the air, it seemed like things kind of leveled out. But I'd be glad to hear what DeMarco and Johnny, what you guys saw.
I know earlier by the Jensen Causeway, by the bridge. If you got toward the bridge, Marcus, you went under the bridge actually with the V-copter, but a lot of signals were getting broken up right there. But when we was flying at 18 drones, I didn't have any, because I had the V-copter up, but didn't have any problem.
I flew the hell out of that V-copter. I challenged that V-copter, and Johnny was okay with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I saw a breakup probably about like 600 feet away. So like when we were there Sunday, and once I flew toward the beach, it started breaking up too, which is normally not, that didn't happen. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't terrible, but yeah, there was breakup and interference and all that too. So
I figured there would be, because those things are just like signal hopping all over the place, and there's just not a whole lot of bandwidth.
There's only so much bandwidth, huh?
Yeah, and you know what, Marcus? It's funny you mentioned that you noticed that there were issues the most when somebody immediately fired up their ground station or maybe turned on their quad. We have a rule, and the FPV guys understand this. If somebody's in the air, you don't plug in, because when you plug in, that initial surge of power, the video transmitter can literally blow out everybody's video around you while it settles. Like, it'll surge and then it'll settle, but in that little moment, literally you will black someone's video out. So we have a rule: don't plug in or announce that you're going to plug in, so somebody can say, wait, okay, I'll land so you can plug in.
Right.
We've had people that don't realize you can't do that, and I've had blackouts from it. So yeah, that's probably what that was. And also, I guess the DJI stuff automatically tries to find an open spot, so it's probably doing that search thing too, hopping all over the place. Yep.
Hey, so John, what do you got coming up on your channel? Give us a plug for
man.
anything you got coming.
Oh man, I still need to do a video about that damn plane. I'm gonna put iNav 6 on it, and then I'm actually gonna finally get a build video up of it. I've also got this cute little hold on. Cute little Eachine.
Oh yeah,
plane.
Zero.
Yeah, the A6M0. This is pretty sweet. It's a good little trainer plane, and it'll bind to an actual real transmitter too. You don't have to fly just a toy transmitter. So I'm gonna be doing that. And yeah, I'm still messing with walks now. I'm still doing. I finally, now that the weather doesn't suck, I'm hoping to get out there more and do more videos. So yeah, that's kind of what I have down the road. Oh, I'm doing a 3.5-inch build as well. I'm gonna have a review of this really cool frame. If you want to stay sub 250 and avoid the remote ID stuff, you won't want to miss that. So yeah, that's where I am. Or I'm gonna test a super micro GPS as well, like pinky size. So we're gonna be looking at that too.
Oh, you got some good stuff coming, John.
Yep. It's all on the bench over. It's all on the bench over there, man. Yeah.
Well, I see Ron's joined us, and thank you, Ron.
Marcus, can I tell you what's come up on my channel?
I can. I was going to go to you. I was going to go to you next. That was the natural thing.
Story, Ron. We need to hear that story, okay? Because like, some of us
I got a better story than that. Got a video called the Titusville 2 or whatever. Marcus and I flew in Class D airspace at the Space Center, John.
Ooh, was it?
But we did get Lank and Lance approval both to take off.
Lank and Lance both.
Yeah.
Both. That's amazing.
It was such a secret location that the only person in the world that knows where we flew from is Hot Rod Daytona, because he got on our case of, you guys flew from the wrong side of 95 or whatever, because Marcus couldn't see the space building from there. But anyhow, we flew right before sunset. We had a little trouble getting our approval to take off. I got mine a little sooner. Marcus barely got in the air before we lost the light. But I haven't told Marcus this yet. This is something Marcus sitting down. When I flew over that little, Marcus flew over a retaining pond. There was a little natural pond behind it there. I flew over it a few minutes before him in better light. Guess what, Marcus? There was a gator back there.
There were gators.
Wow.
Ooh.
Yeah. So you see Marcus's version of it already. He put it out there today, but the Titusville 2 will be coming out in just a couple days. And said you can see it. I'm almost sure it's a gator. I'll let some of the farm people confirm it. That's not just a log there, but it sure looked like a gator to me from a distance. But we had a good time out there that night. Now we kind of flew from the hood that night or whatever. You'll see it wasn't what you call the most scenic area of all time. It's almost like the Titusville 2 fly the hood.
Yeah, it wasn't. There was a big old cell phone tower, but there wasn't a whole lot to look at, was there, Ron? But it was still fun. It's always fun to fly in a different area and get your drone. And the other thing that Ron and I discussed afterwards is when you get that aerial perspective, you look at things a little bit differently, right? You see things that you otherwise never would see from the ground. So we had a lot of fun. And that's the other thing I'll say is hanging out all week with Mr. Ron Brown over there and his lovely wife, Susan. Ron took me to all the cool spots to fly in Jupiter. And we did a ton of flying.
Good.
Ron and I were putting drones in the air right and left and everywhere.
I even took Marcus to secret spot number 1 in Carlin Park, whatever. I got him his own chair. He was sitting flying his drone under the palm tree.
I got that video ready to go right now.
We had a cooler full of icy colds.
We did.
Water that is.
Diet.
Yeah. But anyhow,
luckily nobody lost any drones to the gators, right?
Nope.
None.
That was the only gator I saw on the trip, except that same day I saw a couple gators at the Space Center.
You did. That's what I was just going to bring that up. You saw.
That's because the bus driver was pointing them out. The bus driver knew where they were going to be somehow. I didn't know those guys stayed put.
Yeah, well, evidently they did.
But anyhow, it's quite the video coming up there. The Titus and also featured in that video will be Marcus and I's favorite steakhouse, the Durango Steakhouse, right across the street.
The Durango.
We were their best customers for a couple of days there.
We were, yeah. We Durango'd out, didn't we?
They're like the only game in town, but luckily the food was pretty good there. So if ever in Titusville, stop into Durango and tell them Marcus and Ron sent you.
That's it. Yeah, maybe we'll get a commission. Hey, anyway, that's about it for the show, folks. I guess I should say my little thing. Ron was just talking about posting a video from Titusville. I've got one where Ron and I were at Carlin Park that is all teed up and ready to go. So I'll drop that one shortly after the show is over here.
And I dropped a video today from Carlin Park, and you made it. Did you see it yet? You had a little cameo in it.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'll have to look. I did. I saw.
Actually, you were sitting on the chair I'm talking about.
Damn it! I haven't watched it yet, Ron.
Yeah. You make a nice little cameo appearance in that video. So, and folks, I'm sorry I didn't wear my mask tonight. I didn't mask up with the show.
Yeah.
Damn.
Hey,
Shameful.
Seriously, we had a great time in Florida, and this was such a great conversation tonight. Johnny, thank you so much for coming in and filling in, and you added a lot of color commentary with regard to the South Florida Drone Meetup, etc. I appreciate that. And John, thank you for coming in on short notice. You gave us some really great information on those Integra goggles and the Avata in general. And there was a lot of really good conversation in the chat.
Yeah, based off that video, based off John's review, I got them kind of in the cart now. I haven't hit the buy button, but they're sitting in the cart.
Oh no, I got it right here. Look, I'm close.
Yeah, punching that button right now. But anyway, thank you so much, John. That was very valuable to the show.
Appreciate you having me. Always a pleasure to be on, and I'm good to see Ron. You seem to be doing well enough to be right here on the show, so that's a good sign, man.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. And I'm going to speak for myself and Ron and DeMarco. Thank you, everybody in the chat, for watching the show. We love you, and we truly enjoy bringing this to you every week. So we'll see you next week. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.